Hi, I'm Bob Gwynn with the State Extension Advancement Council, and today we have Kathy Smith here joining us. She's going to give an orientation to our new members. And Kathy, by way of orientation, why don't you start out a little bit with the history of Extension, and then we'll get into the history of the Advancement Council.
Thank you, Bob. It's a real pleasure to be here today. Extension started many years ago. Back in 1862, an act called the Morrill Act of 1862 was the very first act that established the land-grant university throughout the country. I think it's fascinating that this was done during the Civil War. It allowed Congress to set aside funds and to provide funds to purchase land for colleges throughout the country. Then, after that, the Hatch Act came along, which established the experiment station, which was just another factor building upon where we are today. The third act, the second Morrill Act, established the 17 historically black colleges throughout the country. And in the South, due to the Civil War, it was required that the South set up these colleges. And the fourth act, which we should all be very proud of as South Carolinians and as Clemson people, is the Smith-Lever Act. It established the cooperative extension service throughout the United States, and without Frank Lever, our U.S. Congressman, also a Clemson Life trustee, that act would not have gone into existence. It was based on the Clemson model, in that the people of South Carolina were seeing people from Clemson come around and teach them how to farm, how to better utilize what they had to work with and base it on scientific information.
So you're saying that the extension program across the country actually started right at Clemson University?
Yes.
Oh,
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Okay. Well, how about a little more history of our own council and how we fit into the extension model here in South Carolina?
I've been able to go back, that we were established in 2002. It goes back a little bit farther than that, but I can't find a date before that, which I don't think is a problem, because in 2002, Ed Pappas, our chairman, was on the State Extension Advisory Council as it was known then. It was only Clemson. It went through a period of time where apparently it kind of just went away. But the powers that be at Clemson decided we needed to have that back. And Fran Wallach, as the new extension director for Clemson, was tasked with the responsibility of making that happen. What he did was he came together with the powers that be at South Carolina State University, and we created a joint council between Clemson PSA, Clemson Extension, and South Carolina State University. We both answer to the same federal government, the same documents are required, the same type of budgeting is required, and we felt like that it's much better if we do this together. That way we can meet the needs of all of the people of the state of South Carolina, not just a few.
I think it's really great. As an extension agent for over 25 years now, I've worked very closely with a lot of the extension agents from South Carolina State, sometimes known as the 1890 Extension Service. Mm-hmm. And we've done a lot of joint programs together, and they just do a lot of great things also around the state within the scope and framework of their mission.
Absolutely.
So we're delighted
Absolutely.
to have them in association with our State Extension Advancement Council. And so what we want to do is also to go over a few of the ideas that we promote within the Advancement Council and give you a little of the details about what we're all about and what we're trying to do. And so Kathy, if you could explain a little bit of that to our new members, I'm sure they would appreciate it.
I am going to read this. I am not going to try to tell you this off the top of my head, because I don't think I can do this. But I think that you will appreciate hearing exactly the way we decided we felt like our mission and our vision was for the State Extension Advancement Council. Our vision is statewide advancement of South Carolina's land-grant universities to our citizens, as achieved through the passion, commitment, and shared values of our organization members. This advancement will have a significant impact and influence on our state's people and economic prosperity. We furthered that with our mission to say the State Extension Advancement Council will execute leadership and deliver proactive impact in the areas of advocacy, strategic partnerships, and program development and delivery to any and all citizens of South Carolina.
Well, and I think that's an excellent vision and purpose, and I think we've defined that very well, hopefully for our new members. And could you tell us a little bit about the way we're structured with our different teams right now?
We have 3 teams, one of which you will become a member of, but we will fit your interest with the team that you want to become a part of. We have the Cooperative Extension Advocacy Team, we have the Strategic Partnership Planning and Development Team, and the Program Development and Delivery Team.
You've been with the council for a number of years. Can you describe our meetings, how many meetings we have and what we do at these meetings?
We have 2 meetings per year. We meet in the beginning of the 6 months of the year, and we meet in the last 6 months of the year. The first meeting of the year is in conjunction with Clemson Day at the State House, where our group will come together with other groups representing Clemson, including the Board of Trustees, the Board of Visitors, Clemson University Student Leadership, and other groups to meet with our legislators to let them know how important Clemson Extension, Clemson PSA is to the state of South Carolina. We have a second meeting in the fall, and we meet somewhere throughout the state. We've met in places such as Clemson, Columbia, Beaufort, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Georgetown. We've met everywhere over the state, and we still have more areas to cover. So we look forward to you being there with us to go to different parts of South Carolina to continue this journey.
Kathy, I know that you've been to a number of the meetings over the years, and we have the opportunity at each of those meetings to hear about some of the programs that Extension delivers around the state. Can you describe maybe one example of some of the speakers that we've had over the years?
Last June, we had a meeting at Clemson, and each of the heads of the different departments within PSA came and spoke to us and gave a report. It's very interesting. I asked a very simple question about genetically modified organisms, which led to about an hour discussion. We learned things that are the truth, the scientific truth about GMOs. We had the person there in charge to let us have a scientific understanding on a layman's level about GMOs, the fallacies that the public wants to believe, the things that are true, and what science proves to be true. So that was just an example of a very fascinating discussion that seemed very simplistic at the outset and became very, very involved by the time that we were finished.
Okay, thanks. Another aspect of being a new member, I know all of the new members signed a statement that said they would be involved at least 40 hours a year. And from your experience as a member of that organization, even though it may sound like a lot, at least to me, by the time you get through 2 meetings that we have a year and probably another 10 or so hours volunteer time trying to work in these teams to advance extension, I think that pretty well covers our 40 hours. I know some people have had concerns about that. And from your experience?
It hasn't been a problem. Especially if you consider Clemson Day at the State House, because we begin at 11 in the morning and Clemson hosts a wonderful reception that night, and I consider all of that to be a part of those hours. We have a 4-hour meeting the next day, and I mean that takes care of so much of it. One thing that I do, and I'm not saying anyone else has to do, but one thing I enjoy, I'm on the advocacy team. So I go and I attend at least 1 county council meeting per month. I wear my badge. I don't expect anything. I just introduce myself and tell the people that I introduce myself to, this is someone representing Clemson, and I just want you to know I'm there. That you don't have to say a word. You don't have to do anything. But when they see me wearing orange, they know Clemson is out there. That's not what someone has to do. It's what I chose to do because I enjoy it. Find ways to volunteer back that you enjoy. That's what all of this is about.
Well, Kathy, one of the great things that we have in the Advancement Council, I think, is our teams. And under the guidance and direction of our extension directors and our team leaders, we're hoping these teams can develop their own agendas for what they feel is important to extension. This is a bottom-up type team. We're trying very hard to empower these individuals that's on these teams to look around them in their area of expertise and bring recommendations that they can bring forward to the team. And at some point, hopefully those teams will make the recommendations to the directors on ways that extension can be improved around the state. Could you maybe share some of your thoughts along these lines also and direct them to our new members that might have an interest in this, what we're really trying to do?
I think of with advocacy, because Clemson is a state institution, the employees and staff and faculty of Clemson cannot advocate directly to the legislature. That's where we come in. Information that we acquire can be put forth to our legislators. We just saw a video about the flood that occurred in October of last year in my part of the state. I'm from Georgetown County. All of our legislators should see that, and I feel like it's my responsibility as a member of this council. It's something easy, it's something simple. It's not a small thing, though, to send this video that shows that our state will sustain a $400 million loss due to the Great Flood of 2015. That's advocacy. When we look at the strategic partnership team, there may be partnerships out there that our leadership is not aware of. And being people that live across the state of South Carolina, you, me, all of us may know entities, people within entities, professional organizations, corporations, businesses that could be a strategic partner with Clemson. Is something we need to look at more closely. And as far as program development, I come again to the flood situation. There are programs that will have to be developed to help our farmers in the future. We don't know what the future holds, but we have to be ready for that future, even though the unknowable is before us. Our people at Clemson are brilliant people. They're smart people, and they're people. They want to help the people of this state. And I think that's probably why you have decided to join this team on this council. Any team that you go on, you're going to be helping the people of South Carolina because you're going to be helping Clemson.
For all our new members, we have a website at Clemson University. If you just go to the Clemson main website, www.clemson.edu, you can type into the search box SEAC for the State Extension Advancement Council. That'll take you to our website. On that website, we have a lot of the documents that we've been talking about. And also, while you're there, you can take advantage of some of Clemson's expertise. We have our wonderful Home and Garden Information System that's available to anybody. It's free of charge. And certainly, if you have questions about home gardening, home canning, plants, things to grow around the house, if you want information on that, you can go to HGIC.
I do want to say one thing about that. I have a particular problem in my front yard. It's called a hickory tree, and I have grass that won't grow under it. Mm-hmm. I called the Home and Garden Information Center, talked to a wonderful young man. He said, I don't know the answer to this, but I will call you back. He called me the next day. That's how good the Home and Garden Information Center is.
Well, and that's a really excellent point, because as a member of the SEAC, you're going to find out about a lot of the services that we have at Clemson and at South Carolina State. And so, you know, if you need information, certainly Clemson or South Carolina State is the place to get a lot of those answers.
That's right.
So once again, Kathy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it's been great.